The comfort trap. Why you stay small and afraid. Failure doesn't really hold most people back. Rather, it is comfort. In fact, they prefer to keep their hide safe, to be on the high window in the open, where they can gradually be found out with all their flaws, hesitation, and inadequacies. Growth really exists when one goes beyond the little protective self. Thus, the question covers some broad territory. Asterisk, asterisk, aha. Should I want to feel safe, or just break out and be free? Asterisk, asterisk, actually, let us admit, most people live by carefully selecting a companionship that will never challenge them, a job that will never stretch them, and beliefs that will never evolve. This is not from laziness, but fear, such as fear of comeuppance before the world can detect that they have been concealing their relative incompetence. Fear of being labeled fake, so they settle. But never for inferior existence. They settle for a really tiny one. Avoidance coping is the name used by psychologists. Inauthenticity is what it is to the philosophers. Most people describe it as normal. The comfort trap goes like this. You feel discomfort. You feel doubt. You feel the presence of the possibility of failure. Instead of facing it, you back away. You explain your decision. This wasn't worth the trouble. I'm just not ready for it. Perhaps in due course. Folks, every time you give preference to comfort, both will be victorious, and you would be the one losing. And this is what happens. Your world gets smaller and smaller and smaller, until, finally, you inhabit your mental prison, enormously secure, and yet oh so stuck. Stability, we were taught from childhood, comes as a paramount value higher than experimentation, and it is all. Get good grades, lots of them. Never mess up. Never create a disturbance in class. Mistakes are punished. Conformity is rewarded, though. And so, we learn to avoid risk. We learn to stay in our lane. By the time we get to adulthood, that lane turns into a cage. It becomes a small space that we rule over as kings and queens, beyond which we are mere tariffed and defenseless peasants. We trade the escape into the unknown for the familiar, tranquility for peace. And so, all in all, we start to accept the lie that this shrunken version of life, is all that we are. It most certainly is not, heck. It's just what we turned into for all the times we could have avoided discomfort and did. Suppose there was a room you lived in, nice and tidy and quiet, very predictable. You knew where everything was. It was comfortable. But beyond the door lay an enormous mansion. Rooms cease skating down until your eyes cannot see anymore. Windows surrounded with a view you never dreamed of, libraries with shelves full of knowledge, people, possibilities, experiences. But opening the door will have profound significance. You might trip, find yourself in a room and don't know how to go along. Be embarrassed, fail, and therefore, you stay in your reserved room. It is easier to prove the mastery of a single room than to become a student in the mansion. This is what nobody actually tells you. Every time you have the courage to enter into another room, the mansion grows. Your mind grows. Your self-identity grows. Always, you will be growing into a place unlike the comfort that scolds your heart, no longer coerced by kindness, a confrontation. Thus, a riddle is life. Only in moments of great pressure does the true persona person, endowed with possibility, with vision, with power stand revealed. You're not discovered, really found out in tranquility. You're seen under pressure, pressed against the wall of uncertainty. Then remember, folks, since you lived your life running away from difficult situations, who in all the world are you? And I don't mean this in an insulting way. I mean to clarion that there just might be a way forward for you. Inside you lies your real self, not in comfort, in chaos, not in certainty, in challenge. Who are you? You really want to know. Do something you're scared of. I remember those early occasions back in life where I got a role I genuinely felt I completely did not deserve. I almost said no. I came up with excuses, apologizing ahead in the event of a no from myself. I'm not expert enough. Well, they'll be laughing at me. I would be caught red-handed for pretense. Something deeper whispered in that stillness. And then, let them observe. Let them see you fail. Let them see you fall. Let them see you struggle. Because, even if they do, you'll finally see the real you. Said yes, struggled immensely, but achieved in 1 month what I could not have done in 5 years. This wasn't because I succeeded, but because I stopped hiding. I, for one, do not understand why running away from the comfort trap feels contemptuous. I am still unable to come to terms with where the transformation and opening up of heart and spirit started. Because, in the comforts of Gleim wonder, an aimless fact, violation, reside realities of harsh living and examination of one's soul. Consider this. You wake up to know the blind spots that were once invisible to your idea. You stop the autopilot. Every feeling will then seem immensely powerful. You realize very suddenly, avoidance is not a safe haven. It is small life. We're never supposed to survive, really, as royals born into pens. And here is a game for you. Do something that involves discomfort this week. Say what you dare in a meeting. Take that online class you dread visiting. Stand forth with a project because you've been quite terrified too. Say sorry to whomever you've been hiding from. Say that what you actually mean. Do not allow the consequence to become a priority. Do it for recovery. And for each of those moments, you dare to go entirely out of the comfort zone to breed growth. You shall be a step further into being your true self. Not the self they indoctrinated you to be, nor the self you stand to be. Rather, he, she, they are ... waiting ... on the other side of the door.